folks, to the IPRA New South Wales eSeries tonight, Improved Production Racing Association. What is round number 6 of their championship here in 2022. And we're at the small, cute little circuit tonight, Limerock Park, for this event. Welcome aboard. Let's get down and get into the racing. We've just had lone qualifying. I can bring up the results for you shortly from that qualifying here, but I can tell you Michael Dumbrell has put it on a provisional pole with Dave Coleman and Mario Reale, your top 3. Dave Royal will start out of 4th tonight. Dylan Thomas McCune at 6th here out of 7th. And then we've got quite a field tonight of the 2-litre cars. It is a mixture of the 2-litre and V8 supercars tonight for this IPRA New South Wales series. And we've got 7 in the V8 class and about, I think, 9 2-litre TCR cars to battle in this multi-class event. So we're just finishing up qualifying. We'll bring you the results. We'll go straight down to the grid for what is a 3-race format tonight. The first of 3 races about to get underway now. So with qualifying run and done, this is how they will start the first event. The V8 supercars have the blue marking next to their name. The 2-litre cars have the grey. As you can see, they're gridding up already. Behind the Porsche safety car, we will do a full lap around this Limerock circuit prior to getting underway. And as you can see, Dumbrell will start from the front row with Dave Coleman alongside. Reale will start with Worrell on that second row, side by side. Then it's Dylan Thomas for Fishy Motorsports, Scott McCune in 6th place. Andrew Tixia will share the 4th row of the grid with Matt Anderson, your top qualifier for the 2-litre cars tonight in the Honda. Luke Hogan will start at 9th with Brett Starling in 10th, and then it's Ryan Gorton in 11th tonight with Joshua Peacock to run at the top 12. 13th on the grid, it's Samuel Thomas with Justin McMahon next to him. John Van Ree will start from 15th with David Kirby, Josh Drake tonight in the Porsche safety car, and Brad Harris standing by as well at the rear of field in the TCR car. So let's take you straight down there. We've got a little bit of a moment to hold up and wait before we get underway for a start, but 1 lap about to be run. They're just doing their final mic checks, doing their final briefing from race control. 3 times 25 lap races tonight. Eddie's in the house, says go Fishy boys. Welcome aboard. Eddie Wilson's here as well. Reeksie's over on the chat. Hello guys, welcome aboard. So final staging just going on now. You can see from the overhead there is a shot of the grid. Looks like we're still missing Reale and Worrell off the second row. They were there before, weren't they? So they've just ducked away again, maybe? Ryan Gorton as well out of 11th has yet to appear on the grid. So just holding back, waiting for the final guys to appear. A couple of questions being asked to race control about the start procedure, I think, for Dumbrell, who will have the honours of getting us away for this first run. The HSR car, Hypersonic Racing. So 25 laps around here. It should be pretty quick lap times. We'll have a quick look once again whilst we're waiting at the qualifying results. And there they were. So Dumbrell with a 52-second lap. So it's a nice quick lap in the supercar. And a little bit closer to the minute mark, around 57 seconds for the TCR cars. The key aspect of this racetrack is that you will find the V8 supercars will probably only be able to pass down the main straights. It's quite twisty, and TCR cars will hold their own through the back end of the circuit, and that's definitely what we'll be watching to do. Supercars look tough as at Limerock. It's going to be tough to, like I said, just get them around here, and that opening phase as well when the tyres are cold will be a little bit of hard work for these supercar drivers. So I look forward to seeing Matt Anderson, see what he can do from back there in the Honda TCR car. Maybe just sneak through, surprise a couple of these V8 supercars and appear up towards the front. 3 minutes into staging, we have not moved. Not sure what's going on here, so it's a long hole behind the safety car. And we're beyond 3 minutes now, so what I'm going to do is just chill out for a moment and come back to you shortly for the start of this race. So 5 minutes and a quarter into staging here. I've got no idea what's going on. It's one of the probably the longest starts to a staging for a get-go lap. Here we are, we're underway, so 5.5 minutes. Sitting on the grid for the drivers. We're now going to roll away for a lap here before we then start this 25-lap race. So whether or not they had some tech issues there in the background, I don't know. G'day Keith, welcome tonight mate. So here we go, Dumbrell rolls away with some angry V8 supercars behind him. And then Matt Anderson further back, you can see the top 2-litre car getting set to go. There's a view back from Dumbrell's car. You need to just be aware, like I said, the cold tyres don't catch him out at the start of this race. We've seen in the past a couple of these guys throw it to the weeds if they're not ready with their tyre prep, and it's going to take them probably a lap or two at this short track to come on song, and they are doing that little chicane which you can see there. It's a little dogleg chicane to slow the cars down, so it's going to make it very tricky. I used to hate when I did official races and they put that chicane in there. I used to absolutely hate it. They're going to have to try and weave their way through there tonight, the slalom part, and you can see it tightens up through there. They've got the option to do that little kink there as well, which thank God they haven't done. Let's get set to go racing though. The Porsche safety car about to disappear out of the way, and Uncle Dumbrell will get us underway at last. So here we go, 7 minutes to get us underway, but we are about to race the first race of the night for the IPRA New South Wales Production Car Series, and we get a green light. We're off and racing. Dumbrell has Coleman right on his 6 as they go down towards turn 1. Good start all in all. Here goes the braking zone though. We hope for the best. There's a little bit of contact between the TCR cars. Anderson got hung out to dry and just falls back a couple of positions. Meanwhile at the front, Coleman challenging Dumbrell. Further back, they're still jostling, and that's Tixie, who's just dropped back into the clutch of the TCR cars. Let's watch Dumbrell at the front though try and make his way through this little dogleg chicane for the first time. See if he can do it without any incident at all. Oh, he's gone across the grass, so that'll be a slowdown. He'll have to hold station there for a moment. We'll drop back outside the top 3. So he overcooked it for the first run into the chicane tonight. They run down to finish a lap here at Limerock. Let's check out the curb cam. This will give you a good shot of the drivers as they come onto the pit straightaway. It's Coleman leading Burrell, McCune and Dumbrell. Followed by Reale, Thomas Tixia, then it's Hogan, Harris, Starling, Gordon, Anderson. Someone was off the track, a couple of cars way off the racetrack there in the background doing some bush bashing. And John Van Ree in the Playboy car tonight, going wheel to wheel here. Wow, that was a big dive bomb from McMahon, but he's gone way off the circuit down there, and he's disappeared and reappeared. So he's off to La La Land as well, as Coleman pulls out about a 0.7 of a second lead now over Worrell. McCune, Dumbrell in there as well. It's a good getaway. McCune giving some attention now to the back of Dave Worrell's Wodonga Carts and Parts car. Started this race. Reale in the background as well, firing along. Dylan Thomas is staying with him. Let's jump on board with him in the V8 supercar. Fishy Motorsports 818 entrant as he goes down to take the flag in another lap here, lap 3:25. That's Dave Worrell, I think quite wide into turn 1. You can hear the throttle application through 1 into 2. They've got to be super careful not to light up the rear tyres as Dumbrell fights his way back into it. Now we thought the TCR cars would be able to stay with him. Well, they haven't. They're already 9.4 seconds off the lead of this race, so it looks like the match isn't as even as we suspected, but the fuel burn will be interesting as well, because from what I've been told, there may be a difference in strategy here as well. So keep an eye on how that unfolds a little bit later on. Apparently all the cars are set to a 25% tank capacity, so the supercars will need to make a pit stop during the race, and they can't take on new tyres at the pit stop. Apparently the TCR cars should be able to get through the whole race without needing a pit stop. So it'll be interesting once they do that first stop. Obviously these V8 supercars want to stretch enough of a lead to not be impacted by the fact that the TCR cars can continue on. Well, with Dave Coleman through the flip-flop lap 4. He's looking pretty good at the moment, isn't he? Fishy Motorsport. While Ryan Gordon fighting with Brett Starling, and also Brad Harris is there as well. They'll get a little bit of out of shape through there. Harris holding on in the background. Josh Peacock trying to recover. It was Anderson that dropped backwards off the start, but he's now just got it wound up again. He lost 3 positions, is out of shape. Starling with a big wobble out of the final corner, got it under control. Anderson would have seen a good shot of that, so would have Harris. So Starling and Harris 9th and 10th places. Brad Harris, it's actually made up 8 positions in the opening part of this race, so he's doing well, and now he's all over the back of Brett Starling, trying to find a way through. With this twisty circuit, as you can see from the flyover at the start of the broadcast, it's not a lot of room to get around cars. You can sort of hold a line here and really box each other out. That's where we suspect to see if some of these TCRs can get in front of the V8 supercars at the first pit stop of the supercars, they might be able to just get their elbows out and retain the lead in this race. That will make it very exciting. Meanwhile, at the front, the V8s peeling out now to about a half a second each. The top 3 moving away, quite away now from Reali, who's dropped 3 seconds back off the lead, 3.5 back to Dylan Thomas as well. And then Morel sits in 6th place, 7.9 seconds off the lead. So on board with Dylan Thomas for Fishy Motorsports. He's all over the back of Mario, but you'll get a good impression from this angle how tight this track is. And he's got to probably just be there when a mistake happens in front. I've already seen Dumbrell in that opening lap run wide across the chicane. Now we've just got to wait for Reali to make a mistake here for Dylan to sneak through. He looks pretty confident though in front. Reali has held his own at the moment, 53.0 fastest lap. Thomas has done a 52.8, so he does have a couple of tenths up his sleeve. If he could just get one position up the road, the fastest lap of the race so far, a 52.4 for Dumbrell, who sits in 2nd. He's also starting to close that margin now. Back up to your race leader, who is Dave Coleman. Worrell for Wodonga Cars and Parts sitting back in 6th place. And it's Andrew Tixia. And then we go back to our TCRs. They've quite gapped out. Let's go back to Starling and Harris, Anderson and Gorton. Gorton's just holding back at this stage. Let's jump on board with 2-litre TCR cars. As you can see the class leaders at the top of your screen now. Coleman and Hogan 8 laps into this first of 3 races. Roy Clark says, where is Playboy John? Playboy John's in the house. He's back there in 16th place. With a cheeky little livery on the car tonight in the Honda. 16th and plumb last, and about to be overtaken by the V8 supercars. So here we go. Oh, he's off on the grass too. We saw an incident last night in the sports sedans where one of the top cars was taken out by a lapping car. Or was it in the Mazdas? It was the Mazdas actually on Monday night. It's all a blur to me. But John gets out of the way then of the leaders as they come through. So they're already lapping the TCR cars. That is the speeds difference of these supercars around Limerock. 9 laps in, and a couple of cars already well a lap down. What's happened to Dave Worrell there? He's also dropped out now. Went off track earlier. Didn't see any crash indicator, so he's gone into the pits and out of the pits now. So maybe just making his stop a bit earlier as Coleman weaves his way around. McCune now 1.8 seconds off the lead, so he's dropped back a long way. And Dumbrell, not sure what happened to Dumbrell. He's also dropped well off now, down to 5th place, and after setting a fastest lap of the race, did a 57.4 on the previous lap, so definitely went onto the grass. And that is not good for his chances too. Cutting grass. There's some lawnmowers out there tonight. The Victor Cup, we should call it, for the IPRA New South Wales, round number 6. So enjoying some mixed racing again tonight. In the background you get to see Reale fighting his way past, I think it's Anderson in there, is it? No, it's sorry, it's Dumbrell now getting past, or trying to get past Dylan Thomas. The car behind him was McMahon, who's back there in 15th place in the Honda. Up the road though, there, wheel to wheel again. Dumbrell trying to find his way around the outside. That's a decent overtake effort if he can get it done. We're on board now with Dylan Thomas. They're side by side, and they're going to head up towards the flip flop here. Dumbrell should get through. He does. So good smart driving there by Dylan Thomas. Didn't really push the envelope too hard. Now drops back into 5th place. Like I said last night, wrapping up some streaming here with RACESTARS TV. So if you've enjoyed the last 2.5 years, hang around for however many. I think we'd probably do another 20 or so broadcasts as we wind things down, wrap things up with commitments that I've committed to for this year. And it's been real, it's been fun, but making a pretty serious decision last night to withdraw and to start pulling back streaming with a view of ending altogether. So if you got time to hang around and say good day and bring back some memories of the last 610 nights I've sat in the studio here, definitely do so over the next couple of months while I'll wind things down. And the IPRA has been a good series, 6 rounds in now. We've got, I think, 3 to go. As we head towards the end of the year, we're still committed to covering all those rounds. Coleman leading McCune here, Reale. And the gaps between the top, well, the V8 supercars and the TCR cars, 39 seconds. Our top TCR car still Luke Hogan. And there he is, not really racing anyone. He's 5.3 seconds clear of Matt Anderson, lead of class, and another 5 seconds further back from him is this man, Ryan Gorton, who's trying to fight with Anderson. Then Brad Harrison Worrells has got past Starling to put a lap on him, I presume. No, that's for position. So Worrells dropped back after that pit stop. He's just had a shocker there over the grass as well, and then drops back in behind Starling once again. So all that hard work he has to do over and over. As we see the leaders coming through now on Anderson going through Coleman, the gap down to half a second now. So that gap's diminished over the last few laps. Looking at the lap times, there was a 53.2 the race leader versus a 52.9 last time around, only 3/10 in it. This one might be a little bit quicker. Let's have a quick look shortly when the times flash up. 53.85. In fact, they identical lap times on that one, 1 millisecond in the favour of Coleman over that previous lap. So 11 laps to go. This first race, let's enjoy the sound of these V8 supercars. Crank up the sound. So the race leaders in the pits now for their one and only pit stop for the top guys. We'll see Coleman take on 10.3 seconds worth of fuel, come back out, still in the lead of the race. So they were predicting that possibly the TCR cars, who don't need to stop, maybe able to leapfrog the V8s here, but they haven't. Hogan's still 51 seconds back. Now he hasn't stopped. Let's see if that adjusts with the timing, but looks to me like Coleman's gone in and out of the pits and still has a 40 seconds or so lead over Luke Hogan. Thanks for the kind words, Will, over on YouTube as well, man. Some great broadcasters around at the moment. LR eSports, WKMPS, WKMP I should say, and others that are doing a wonderful job and have done for a long time. Ready to fill any void that I ever held, that's for sure. So yeah, it's all good. Dave Coleman, McCune and Thomas continuing to dominate this race. So I'm looking to find Dumbrell now. I'm not sure what's happened to him in the pit stop, but to me it screams a 30-second speeding in the pit penalty, because he was in the lane for 51 seconds stationary, and that's a hell of a long time to be stationary in the pits. So he's obviously got some car speed to sneak his way back into this, but gee whiz, a lot of work to do. So we're going to have a talk to Robbo in the second race tonight. He's the driver of the 32 Honda Civic in the under 2 litres, and the host of the IPRA New South Wales race reviews on YouTube. So there you go, he's been racing on and off for 20 years and he's been a motoring rider all that time as well, so that's pretty cool. So we'll talk to Robbo's second race tonight. After this one with 7 laps to go, we're just watching Anderson now under attack from Ryan Gordon. And not being able to get through. Very farty the note of that sound, isn't it? The old fart cannon. Sounds like a Gemini. The old Gemini. Boombar fart cannon. Gemini with the 2-litre sports exhaust. Boombarring its way through the main street of a country town, echoing in the night sky. So 4.7 seconds covers the top 2. We'll just be trying to keep his nose clean now. Coleman to take the win. Should be pretty straightforward from here on in, but you never know when you've got to overtake a stack of cars. You never know what could happen. He's just got past Zixia there, who's been struggling a bit around this circuit tonight. And that means he's lapped everyone up to 13th place. Josh Peacock, the next person on his radar just up the road for your race leader. Been thinking of different things to do streaming to fill the void that may be left with me. I know that sadly the sim racing side of things for me, I'm ready for a change, but I'm thinking of other options of live podcasts or live music shows, other things like that. So watch this space. I might not be gone forever, but definitely gone from the sim racing community, but not gone from the airwaves completely. Wouldn't mind doing something maybe once a week or even once a fortnight. An acoustic live music show that's live streamed. Working on something, so keep an eye out. I'm sure I'll try and link you up if that eventuates somewhere towards Christmas next year. Let's look at the closing speed there from the supercar. Hard on the brakes. Coleman, he's pulled the gap out again to 5.7 seconds over McCune. It's yo-yoing between them. I think it might be a bit to do with the traffic too. 5.4 now with four or so laps to go. Sneaks through further back. The only real battle we've got on the racetrack is this one, Matt Anderson and Ryan Gordon. Now this is over P2 in the 2 litre class. They've been at it pretty much the whole race, and Anderson's been able to hold the upper hand until now, and he's running out of laps here. Ryan Gordon, he's currently third. He would love to be second or even first. I'm not sure they're going to catch Luke Hogan. He's dominated tonight in the 2 litres, the Roadrunner car, currently P6 outright. So he's looked really, really good in the Hyundai. He just laps John Van Ree, who's out there for lapping practice tonight. The playboy boy. So he's just going to have these guys sneak through. He bleeds out of the throttle. And nice job. So the gap, 5.4, you can see it with your own eyes there. He's almost out of shot. In fact, he has got a couple of 2 litre cars between him. Here's a track map for you to feast your eyes on. That's how spread out they are, as P1 leads this race with 3 to go at the end of this one. Dylan Thomas now holding on to a podium position in the Ford Mustang, so he's done well and holding within 9.1 seconds of the lead. Love the livery on this car, the Fishy Motorsport livery. Try and get you a couple of close-ups of it here. It looks fantastic. There's the front 3/4 panel view. Ducks down the inside of the 2 litre car. Oh, that's close, wasn't it? That was, in fact, that's Hogan. Well, no, it wasn't. It was the sister car. So I was going to say, I thought that was Hogan for a second. As McCune's had to come in the pits for a second stop here, so that's going to push him out of contention for a podium, unfortunately. Coleman leads Thomas now up into second, and there's almost contact between the 2 litre cars. Harris almost into the back then of Peacock. That would have ruffled his feathers. And behind them, Andrew Tixia, a lonely old race for him. Samuel Thomas as well. Bit of a lonely race down in 14th place. But with your race leader counting down the laps now. Only one to go at the end of this one now. For race 1, we've got 3 races tonight. Robbo's coming to talk to us in the next race too. We'll get him over to the green room shortly, hopefully. Sure, I can move him into the green room. I can't. I'll get him in the green room eventually. So race 2, we'll have a chat with him. As Coleman's out of shape there. Those tyres are probably gone off. They are not allowed to swap tyres in the pit stop. That's one of the conditions tonight. And he's just tiptoeing his way through this final couple of laps. You would hate to drop it after doing all that hard work. The last thing you want to do is drop it now as he goes through, takes the white flag, 1 to go. Down the inside, Gordon gets out of the way, Anderson does not. Now he's sort of stuck in this position we thought we might have seen more of tonight, where the V8 Supercars just can't get through. This is the race leader, so he's got Gordon right behind him as well. Oh, now he gets through and almost makes some contact. He surprised him through there. But job done. He can now go towards the flag. It's a 9.9 second lead over Dylan Thomas for this win. So domination in this first race tonight.
You're right, mate. You're right.
Dave Coleman will come through and take the checker flag. 18 drivers out there. Well, in fact, 16. So we take away the 2 safety cars. 16 drivers. Put your hands together for this race 1 victor. Dave Coleman takes the win in race number 1 for the IPRA New South Wales round 6 event here from Limerock. We've got 2 more to go. Dylan Thomas will take second. Good drive by him tonight as well. And also well done to Royale, who will bring it home for P3 on the podium. The 2 litre class has already been classified. Gordon takes the win in 2 litres. Anderson as well, P2. And it will be Brett Starling round out your top 3. In fact, no, looks like Gordon got the win. Gordon got the win from Anderson and Peacock. I do apologise. There's your top 3 in the 2 litres, also run and done. So we'll get the results off for you shortly, and then we'll get straight into race 2.
I'll set a 3-minute grid for the start of the next one.
There's your race results up on the screen now. Let's do it class by class. There's your overall results, the top 16, but we'll go straight away to the V8 Supercars and have a look at how they finished up. Coleman, Thomas Riali with only 7 in the field tonight. McCune, Dumbrell, Worrell, Tixia, year 7 drivers. 2 litre classes is how they finished up their race, and it was Gordon who took the win over Anderson and Peacock. Starling got 4th, and Harris rounding out your top 5. 11 drivers in the 2 litre class, and well done, that's how they finished the race. We get set for race number 2 now, and we'll be back with you shortly when they're all gridded up, ready for a safety car start here from Limerock Park on RACESTARS TV. Right, so we're underway. 5 minutes of grid staging again. Let's go down to the grid for this second race tonight, and it will be, forget the top 2, their race control will be John Van Ree and Justin McMahon off the first row. Samuel Thomas will start from the second row tonight with Andrew Tixio, who will be a little bit out of position there in the supercar. Hogan and Harris, then Starling and Peacock, Anderson and Gordon round out your top 10. 11th and 12th will be Worrell and Dumbrell. The supercars at the back, McCune and Riali and Thomas and Coleman to round out the 16 drivers that will take place in this race, full reverse grid. So Tixia should get a pretty good hole shot here against the 2 litre cars that are in front of him. There's only 3 of them. expect to see him pretty quickly get to the lead of this race, and maybe if the elbows are out from the drivers behind, he might be able to hang on to that. They have 25 laps to do it again though, so let's see how he goes here. Can he keep his nerve? What will John Van Reed do off the start? Can he try and jump ahead and then get the elbows out and maintain the lead for a couple of laps? We'll wait and see. Of course, we always wait and see. Wait and see it is. We will be talking to Robbo shortly as well. And Tim Robson hopefully is going to head over to the green room sometime, and we'll grab him from the green room. If you're watching along and listening, Tim, head over to the green room. Right, let's get set for a green light and a start here. The pace car comes out of the way. And you're at field of competitors. Have to be patient here. The green's about to go. And now we're racing, so they accelerate away. Good start. The V8 Supercar, as expected, whole shot straight down the middle. I think everyone's got through cleanly. They have, so it's Andrew Tixia who leads us out of turn 2 for the first time. In the background, they're hustling. It's Dylan Thomas trying to work his way through the middle of the pack as well. All over the back of Van Reet already. He needs to be patient here. Don't want to throw it away on the first lap of the race. He's definitely got some speed in that car. Look at the way he just dispatches of John Van Reet. And down the inside in the background, the red car, Brett Starling, great overtake. Puts himself up in position, but Tixia, perfect getaway. There he goes, out in front, holding on to the lead. Dylan Thomas up into 4th. In the background further, here come the V8 Supercars. You can just see Coleman, Gorton and the others. Sorry, I should say Riali and Dumbrell, not Gorton. He's in a 2-litre car, fighting their way through. Dylan Thomas now, watch the straight line speed of this supercar, straight up into 3rd place and maybe into 2nd. He looks to the inside. Has it got superior braking? It does. Slows the car down now and holds on to P2 in the race. Van Reet overtaken by Peacock, and Dumbrell now tries to find his way through, and he does at turn 1 on Van Reet. Moves himself up into P9, making 5 positions up at the start of this race. Jostling behind, we've got the disappearing car there. Let's jump on board with Riali. That'll be off-putting seeing Justin McMahon appearing and reappearing like he is. Look at the straight line speed of the supercar. You got to pick your times, but he did that. That was a great whole shot. Moves himself straight up into 11th now. Tixia still leads, but here comes a challenge. Now what's happened here? Our timing screen's going to shuffle its way through. I think Andrew Tixia still leads, although Dylan Thomas looks to have overtaken him and now take the lead of this race on lap 3. So he should be able to carry on well. Luke Hogan's done well in the 2-litre car, but all the big guns are now starting to fire their way through as Samuel Thomas is off the road and in the fence in the TCR car. Now he's gone back to the lane to get that damage fixed. And Dylan Thomas, who's in the lead, will be reflected shortly on the timing screen as such. I'm not sure why it's put Samuel Thomas in front of the field at this stage, because he's definitely not, unless he crashed his way over the fence and took a shortcut somehow. Now he's dropping down to the bottom as predicted. 3.9 seconds, 4 seconds in fact the lead as they start lap 4. It's another absolute walloping out in front. Dylan Thomas. What about this guy Coleman? He's just done, well, pretty good lap time, 53.0, but not quick enough to stay in the pace of Thomas. Tixia still hanging on too after starting at the front of the grid. And McCune and Dumbrell not too far behind. Let's jump on with the hypersonic racing car. Michael Dumbrell. So Dumbrell and McCune working together here. That was a double mugging, fighting their way through. So we're going to have a bit of a talk to Tim in a second. So we'll just see if you can hear us first of all. G'day, how are you tonight, Robbo?
Yeah, good mate. I've got you loud and clear. How are you hearing me?
Very loud and clear. So good. You enjoying the racing tonight? It's an interesting track, a tight track to put supercars and TCR cars together. A little bit like a Wakefield Park, probably in our version.
Absolutely, absolutely, and one of those sort of famous iRacing tracks, isn't it, where a lot of us get our start bashing around in MX-5s around Limerock. But yeah, great mix of having supercars and the TCRs here together, and yeah, the supercars seem to be running away with it tonight.
They are. There's a 3.8 second lead at the front. Tell us a little bit about yourself, mate, what you do and your involvement in the IPRA series.
Look, mate, I'm one of those guys that makes the rest of the field possible. I've been running around for a couple of years with the crew in Ipransw, New South Wales, and a nicer bunch of chaps you can't hope to meet. I've actually got to be a little bit careful. The guy who is running in one of the Hondas there, Justin McMahon, he's actually got my Honda on his hoist at his workshop at the moment with a gearbox out of it. So, Justin, you're doing a great job, mate. Keep it up. Awesome. Just make sure you get that gearbox back in for me. That'd be great. Dave Burrell as well is obviously a staple. We've got a bit of action in the background there.
Yeah, we do. I think they've sorted it out though. I missed it, but they're a bit of a smoke cloud.
Always excellent. And yeah, look, the Improved Production New South Wales series this year's gone from strength to strength. We're actually, speaking of Wakefield before, we're heading up there for round 4 in a couple of weeks. So hopefully people can pop out and have a look.
Yeah, cool. And how do people, I guess, get involved and be part of the series? I mean, what's the entry-level race car to have to race in your series?
Well, look, I mean, we've got the Hondas here. We've seen a bit of action, and then just TCRs taking each other out, coming down the main straight. I'm probably at the base end of the field with a Honda Civic EG from about '94. It's got a B series engine in it. Probably set me back $8,000 when I bought it. Of course, that's not going to touch the gearbox cost of series leader Kurt McCready and his under 2 litre Sylvia. So there's certainly, it's like anything, you've got to pay to play when it comes to motorsport. But one of the things I can really sort of, I suppose, promote about our series is the fact that it doesn't matter. As long as the car's running and you get back to the pitch, you're having a great time. It's about beating your clock, having a run with a few of your mates. There's no crash and bash like you can find in some of the other series. It's a bunch of old and not so old blokes out for a good time.
Mate, that's great. It sounds good too, and it sounds like a good community. It's been a fun community to have on an eSeries. It's the first time I think you guys have done an eSeries, but it's been well represented by a lot of drivers and fans and crew. So it's good, and I guess what we see with the speed difference between the supercars and the 2 litre cars here in this category is what you'd also see in the real world in your series.
Yeah, to a point. We occasionally run what we call the combined class. Typically, we have 2 classes within a race weekend: the under 2 litres and the over 2 litres. So Dave Burrell, who's in the Commodore tonight, runs a big old VC Commodore in that series. But sometimes, take for example, last year we ran with the supercars under lights at Sydney Motorsport Park at Eastern Creek, and we ran both the categories together, and that was actually a lot of fun. So the top end of the under 2 litre guys can get on top of that sort of mid-strong pack of the overs, and then typically basically doubles the field, doesn't it? I think we ran it 30-something cars around the fair. It was just brilliant. It was so much fun. So, but typically we will divide the categories to have, I guess, a pair of even races, and spreads the improved production love across the weekend as well.
Yeah, now after this round we've got 3 more tracks to go, and they're all Aussie tracks, so that's exciting, and it will be a good way to finish off after doing Long Beach, Laguna and Limerock, and then we're going to go to Sandown for the next round in September, Phillip Island in October, and then Bathurst to wrap it all up in November. So it's a good way to finish this series with 3 Aussie tracks.
Look, absolutely. Actually, one of our blokes, Matthew Harris, was down at Sandown last weekend running with the Improved Production Victoria crew. Did pretty well. I think he ended up 6th or 7th overall, so showed the Mexicans how to do it for the New South Welsham, so that was great. Obviously, as well in New South Wales Improved Production, Jordan Cox, who currently runs at TCR Australia, is one of our sort of favoured sons, I suppose. He set a bit of a name for himself in that Honda Civic EG a few times, which some monstrous passes around Bathurst, and pretty recently he's got a Mark 1 Swift that he's done all sorts of not illegal, but very crazy things too. And it's running monster turbos in the over 2 litre class and 270 something kilometres an hour.
Wow.
in something the size of a matchbox down the straight. It's I think he just built it to scare himself. I think that's the only reason he runs it.
I think not a lot scares me in a car, but I went in a turbo charade once, which absolutely scared the daylights out of me because there was nothing around you, and it was one of the first Mark 1 charades, the little boxy ones. It was only making 100. I think it was 130 kilowatts of the wheels, but that's still a hell of a lot for a 1 litre turbo. And
that's right. When you're 1 foot off the floor and there's nothing between you and the trees,
and no suspension, it felt like a go-kart. That was absolutely terrifying. So I can imagine if he's making that sort of speed out of something that small like a Swift, that's crazy.
Absolutely, and the improved production, it is about, it's a marginal uplift over a typical car. At the moment, we tend to have a fair few older cars in the category. There's a great brace of Ford Escort 2 litres in the field. There's a Toyota Celica that runs in under 2 litres. The Silvias with the basically it's a modifier. So if your Silvia, for example, has a turbo, then it goes into over 2 litres. But if it's got the 2 litre SR20, then it'll stay in under 2 litre cars. So and we can mix it up. We've got the Ipransw Nationals coming up in Queensland later in the year, and hopefully next year definitely next year we'll have them in New South Wales. So that's an event for us to look forward to for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're watching Peacock and Gordon here. A couple of guys having a real good duke out here of this battle of Matt Anderson in the background. We're watching on board with him now, getting a good view of this shot. So the 2 litre guys, whilst the V8s are quite spread out, the 2 litre guys are having a great scrap around this circuit.
They sure are, and Limerock is definitely conducive to good tight racing, and the challenge of turn 1 is not lost on anyone who's had a bit of a lash around here, and I think they're all doing a fantastic job.
If you haven't been on the grass at turn 1, you haven't been in iRacing.
And if you make these things turn at Limerock, I think you can set up an iRacing car better than I can, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're frustrating in a sense if you're not well in tune with how to drive a front wheel drive car, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've gone to the Honda because I own a Honda, and Dave Moreau was kind enough to make that original white and blue livery for me based on my own car. But I've got a sneaky feeling I might have to try the Hyundai, see how that goes forward.
So halfway through the race here, Dylan Thomas, do you know much about him? He's out there in front doing a good job.
Yeah, look, I'm learning a lot more, especially through David, the ins and outs of the sim world. It's certainly come on a long way since I started sort of 10 or 12 years ago, and it's just simply incredible how much the sport has developed in that time, and these front runners are just something else. I can't believe their pace.
Yeah, I know a Dylan Thomas from CXC Racing. I'm not sure if it's the same guy.
Yeah, I wonder if it is. I was actually thinking that myself. So I know we've definitely got a few sort of real flesh and blood car races in the field, and hopefully we can get a few more out of the sim world. I think that we have a couple of people in the chat that are keen to make that transition. Of course, it's a cost thing. It's although I've seen pricing up some pedals for myself in the moment in the sim world. I'm thinking, do I get suspension for the real race car, or do I get a set of pedals? It's
yeah.
It's pay to play across the board. We've had, I've had good luck using the basic stuff, but I think it's time to step it up a little bit. But bit of a dive there. So yeah, it's interesting to see the mix of the TCRs. A bit more action there in the grass.
Reality's off. Yeah. No, but you're right. You can spend on a sim rig almost as much as a cheap race car these days.
Oh, look, absolutely. I've got the race car next to the sim rig in the garage, and I often wonder, should I, dump one for the other? But no, I'm pretty keen on the real world of racing. I'm fortunate enough that I've got a couple of kids who are keen on it. They've got to pay to play as well. But,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and actually, my son is the iRacer in the house. He's developed quite a set of skills, and often comes to tell me that he's been racing against the Shane Van of the world and getting pumped it off over the top of Skyline at 140, and he absolutely loves it. But he has turned that into a bit of a love for the real world of motorsport as well. He'll sit there and watch the entirety of a Daytona 24 or a Spa 24. He's really developed a love for the sport through a lot of it through iRacing.
Yeah, it was interesting talking to people about the F1 show, that's on Netflix, and how many new fans that's brought to the sport of F1. And I wonder sometimes if we don't need similar sort of media to even help V8 Supercars. You know, like, I think the V8 Supercars has sort of just been doing its thing for many years now in Australia, and they're ready to maybe, I don't know, try and find some new fans by. Wouldn't it be cool to see like a what do they call it? The Drive to Survive version of the supercars, where you got a real insight into the going behind the scenes. And I always thought it'd be a cool concept, and I may still do this one day. Or if someone listening steals my idea, they should just run with it. But just doing I was thought about just doing like 1 or 2 minute clips of just cars at race meets. You know, so you just do a little bit of a history or what the car's about. And you just put up these YouTube videos for 2 minutes that just, because I mean, there's so many cool cars at a local race meet. When I used to do the super sprints, you just see these cool cars come out of garages and rock up to Wakefield or Oran Park at the time. That's showing my age, but you know, like I say, there's so much out there in our garages that we don't see that often.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And speaking of your idea, look, at the Erebus Motorsport team did it a couple of years ago and did a pretty good job of it. I think, and another couple of teams had a look at the concept, but one of the sort of restrictions, I suppose, is actually the footage itself. I know that supercars people keep a pretty tight rein on what you can use as footage, and access is a bit difficult. But to your point that they do the same old thing over and over, it's actually absolutely true, and it can be very hard to break out of that mould, and Formula One probably took a pretty big risk. It needed to have that new ownership in Liberty, in the Liberty team that sort of went, well, let's throw the baby out with the bathwater, have something new. I think the first season of that Drive to Survive series was absolutely mind-bending television. I'm not sure they followed on with it. I wonder if it only had a couple of seasons in it, and then everyone's cottoned on that whatever they say to the Netflix people will get to air. So look, it's an interesting one. We'll see where supercars goes with it. They're talking about selling owners again. There's some pretty rusted on faces in that world. Whether they want to change it up, it's crucial to evolve to find the next generation of fans, isn't it?
It is, and engaging people with what you do is, I think, an important aspect of it. So yeah, I mean, we're 18 laps into this race. Just watching the tightness at the top is now, it's all closed up again. So at one stage it was 5-second gaps. Now we've got the top three covered by 1.3, and this man's arrived on the scene, Michael Dumbrell, who I wouldn't mind putting a bet on him being either first or at least having a challenge for the lead by the end of this race. Still 7 laps to go. They've done their fuel stops. The one to watch also is Scott McCune, who's a little bit further back, but he did take extra fuel. And if you saw the cool down lap on the previous race, the winner of that race was completely out of fuel. So
yeah, look, that's interesting. I think when you can actually juggle the fuel loads and tyre wear to be at the point where the top three are separated by a blanket, I think that's going to be an awesome finish, and good on Dumbrell. I think he hasn't qualified that highly in quite a while. Is that fair?
He just had a couple of little mistakes. The first race he dropped back a lot at the start on the first lap. He overshot the chicane, wasn't it? But we're seeing a fishy dominance at the moment. There's nothing fishy about it. There's Dylan and David, fishy 1-2, and then you've got Hypersonic 3-4, and then followed by one of the TCR cars. So Brett Starling has done a sterling job tonight to be up there in 5th place.
And look, and I've got to say, mate, I was listening in on race one. It's a shame you're moving on. I've watched all of the series so far this year. You've done a sterling job for us, and it's been a great opportunity to sort of provide a little bit of extra coverage for our sponsors. We've got you see the picture partners strip across the TCR cars. They look after our under 2 litres. You've got the Ravenol team that look after the over 2 litres, and Midas and DBA, and it's all their time for our people. And this is and big thanks to Dave Worrell for combining with you guys to put on a great show. It's been fantastic to watch. Yeah,
it's been good, and I'm sort of just cutting back from doing 5 nights a week to maybe once a fortnight. I've loved this series. It'd be good to still, if it runs next year, to be a part of it, but I just can't sustain the hours I've been doing with also a 13-hour-a-day day job. So anyway, this is getting pretty intense now. These guys, the TCR, that's the Playboy off into the fence there. That was John Van Ree, I think, hitting the fence. But we'll stay with this run at the front because they're trying to cut their way through a bit of lap traffic, and with only 4 laps to go, Dylan Thomas holds the margin of 0.4 of a second over Dumbrell, 0.7 back, and then McEwen still 6 seconds back as Dumbrell lit up the rear tyres there. And I'm just interested to see where Starling is too in the 2-litre car. He is still holding position. His next competitor, if we take Worrell and Reali out of the equation, is Ryan Gorton, who's 5.2 seconds back. So he's looking pretty good for a win here in the second race, Brett Starling.
You look, absolutely. I'm as spellbound as you are, just trying to catch up with all the action that's going on front to back. It's certainly a fair bit tighter than race one. Someone nearly diving into the pits, maybe a bit of oversteer moment. Catch you there.
Luke Hogan is in the pits, but yeah, let's go back to the front because here they come, starting lap 22, and the top 3 covered by 7/10. I want to go to the fastest lap of the race. That is still held by Dumbrell, so his ultimate lap time of 52.0. He wouldn't mind pulling one of those out right now, I reckon.
Absolutely, bit of movement going through turn 1, 2. They're very tricky, complex. You can be on the right side 1 second and the wrong side the next, aren't you?
I love this track in I think it's the Daytona prototype or the Radical, those sort of cars.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I've ever driven in a V8 supercar. I presume it would just be always on the edge of wheel spin around this place.
And trying to load up the front to get it to turn, I think that'd be one of the tricks as well.
Here goes challenge for the lead, and he's side by side. He left enough room, did Dylan Thomas, and his teammate Dave Coleman's going to try go down the inside at the final corner. This might even help Dumbrell, you know. We've got a good shot of the trees there, but we'll try and hopefully sneak out of the trees soon with the overhead to show 2x2 with Dumbrell about to sneak down and have a look at the inside. He'll try and get on the wrong foot here of, I reckon, Dylan Thomas. So Coleman leads us through the corner, then Thomas. Dumbrell will jump on board with him. He's wheel to wheel. That'll put him on the outside of Thomas for turn 3. But then it becomes the inside again, that classic left, right as the TCR car disappears stage left and out of the picture into the barrier. He's going to sneak back on, but yeah, look at that. So Dumbrell sneaks through, uses that TCR car on the left as a bit of a buffer to move ahead of Dylan Thomas, and in the space of a lap, Thomas has gone from the lead to P3. There you go.
It's almost like Formula Ford racing, isn't it?
That is.
The lead, but only a couple to go.
It is a good comment there from Will Wilson saying John Van Ree was distracted by the centerfold he has taped over the track map on his wheel in the Playboy car tonight.
And big thanks to John for being our wildcard for the night. There's a bit more action down the straight there. I saw those TCR cars in front of our leading 3 and thought, hello, what's going to go on here?
Righto, so we've got 2 to go. It looks like Coleman's got a bit of a buffer here, 1.2 seconds. That could change. The TCR is now running line of Starling, with Anderson and Gorton, your top 3 in that class. They're a long way back. And in fact, they're all being lapped now. So we'll stay with this lead battle as we go through to take the white flag in a second. And he's put himself a TCR car now between himself and Dumbrell. So that's a good little thing to have with a lap to go here. The gap 1 second.
Absolutely a good decision there, and I think he might have just, maybe too early to say, but he might have just broken the back of the chasing pair.
He sure has. 1.3 seconds as he crosses the line to take the white flag. We've still got one race to go after this one. Thanks for coming in for a chat, Robbo. It's been a pleasure, man. And you know, if you want to pop back sometime in the 3rd race as well, I'd be happy to continue talking.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. That's that'd be a lot of fun. Appreciate letting me figure out how to use these newfangled methods of communication like Discord.
All good, man. I'll pop you in the green room. Thanks for popping in. We will chat to you in the race 3 tonight, and we'll catch up with you probably in about 15 minutes time.
Good on you, mate. Thanks.
Cheers. So Robbo there having a chat with us. Big thanks to him for coming in and explaining a bit about the TCR, the IPRA. New South Wales world and what it's all about, which is fantastic. Let's go down to the checker flag box though and watch this man, Dave Coleman, take the flag, and he does it in style here tonight for race number 2 ahead of Dumbrell, who gets P2. Dylan Thomas will cross the line for 3rd in this second race. There he is. Sorry, there's Thomas. There is Scott McEwen. Dylan Thomas maybe a little upset after leading so many laps in that race, but anyway, what can you do? The 2-litre cars have also been classified now, with Starling taking the win, Anderson and Gorton. Your top 3 are going to take a short break, and we'll come back shortly with race number 3. Right, our final race of the evening, and it will be Dave Coleman who will start from pole position with Michael Dumbrell alongside. Dylan Thomas will start from the second row with Scott McCune out of P4 on the grid. Then we'll see out of 5th, Riali with Rorel out of 6th. Then it's Starling, the 2-litre car, alongside Matt Anderson, Gorton, Peacock, Texier, and McMahon down there in 12th place on the grid. 13th will be Brad Harris. John Van Rie, our wildcard, starts from 14th with Samuel Thomas and Luke Hogan down at the back of the field tonight. I expect us to get another 5 minutes of staging here, so enjoy the music. I'll be back with you shortly for our final race of the evening. Right, so we roll away behind the Porsche safety car here for race number 3 of the afternoon. Dumbrell will lead us away with Dave Coleman on the front row. Coleman will actually have the inside run pole position, so watch for that run down the straight. Dumbrell's at the moment leaving him behind. He needs to get a wriggle on here, Coleman, so he doesn't drop too far back. What have we got installed for us? 25 more laps, 1 pit stop required for the VA supercars. The TCR cars will be able to get through this race without a stop. They rumble their way through. So here we go, getting set for a start now. Before grid, after grid. Classic Will. It's true though. It is true. Alright, here we go. Time for the final race of the evening. Who will lead us out of turn 1? Will we have a big incident? We've yet to see an incident tonight. They've been pretty well behaved when it comes to the first couple of laps, the first opening lap in particular. But this is where it can all change on the final race of the night. They hold station. Now we get going. The roar of the V8s at the front is deafening as they take off. All 6 of them straight down towards turn 1. So far, so good, like we've seen in the first 2 races. I don't want to speak too soon, but that was a beautiful start by all involved as they head through this windy, twisty section here at Limerock. Side by side, Thomas and McCune is in there again. McCune hasn't had the best of night tonight. He might want to try and capitalise in this final one, see if he can't just grab him some points back. Coleman got the perfect getaway from Dumbrell, who made that mistake on the opening lap of race 1, which has haunted him ever since. He's now trying to fight his way back up for a win. Meanwhile, Riali in the background just dropping back with Worrell. Then you got the 2-litre category already dropping back 4.6 seconds off the lead, but Starling leading from Gordon, Anderson, Texier, And Thomas Hogan, Peacock McMahon and John Van Rie are wild cards tonight. Being wild at the back, the Playboy car is bringing up the rear of the field as the leader Coleman leads us into lap 2 with a gap of 0.6 of a second. So in the background, Dylan Thomas, who led plenty of laps in that first race, needs to attach himself to these top 3. They're going to run for it. They're not going to hang around for anyone. Rourell already 2.3 seconds off the back of Dylan Thomas after 2 laps. Goes to show the pace of the top 3 in particular. They did a 56 rolling start lap. Let's see what this is off a get-go lap now. We're going to see an indication of true speed. We saw them into the 52s at one point in race 1 and 2. A 51.9 there for McCune. So that's the fastest lap we have seen all day today. This man has turned the wick up for the final race. Scott McCune goes into the 51s. A 51.91 beats a 52.0 and a 52.0 by the 2 competitors in front of him in the track. 38 degrees. Has that just dropped slightly over the day? Because as it heads into the evening, we may just be seeing some faster times starting to develop. Car off the racetrack, it's 6th area, he's gone off again. Comes back on with not a lot of damage, but it has dropped him back down to 13th place, unfortunately. Start lap 4 now. Coleman, Dumbrell, McCune, nothing's changed at the front. Let's jump on board with Dumbrell as he tries to hunt him down. Good battle at the front. At the moment, Coleman leads. Scott McCune has dropped back a little bit on that lap. There's quite a bit of smoke in the air down the pit straight. We go back and have a look at our 2 leader drivers. Pick up Brett Starling, who's currently in 7th place. And we got a caution here by the looks of things. The safety car is out on the racetrack. So we'll try and pick up where that was for. Did note that Andrew did go off the track there at one point. Let's have a quick look at a replay. This might tell the story of why we're under full course caution. Number 17 loses the back end. Now, was there a second collision here when he re-enters the track? Not sure why this would be a caution otherwise. It's the only indicator I've been given on iRacing. VCR cars scooted through there without incident. Maybe a competition caution. So definitely nothing there for me to
There'll be 2 laps under safety car. There'll be 2 laps
to see why there was a safety car. So
Striker is now arrested.
okay, so anyway, under caution. We might see if Robbo wants to come back for another bit of a chat. Lap 6, we're under caution, man. Our first safety car of the night.
I think it's the first safety car that I've seen while I've been watching as well. It's the Ravenol colours looking loud and proud on 911 there.
Yeah, it's who is it out there? Dave Kirby's the driver of that one tonight. So he's been given the honours. I didn't see an incident to bring out the safety car, in fact. So it was a bit of off-track driving, a bit of grass cutting, but nothing huge to write home about.
Yeah, like you say, might be bringing the field back together for a bit of a sprint to the flag, you reckon?
Could be, but these supercars have just been incredibly quick again tonight. They got one more lap under caution. I'm interested to see what Dumbrell can do though, because Coleman was holding his own. I wonder if he's going to try and just push a little bit harder. You've got to remember they haven't pitted yet, these guys, and I wonder if they did close the pit lane under caution as well. You didn't hear that, but yeah, no one's dived in.
Yeah, but you talked about the quality of racing before, and hats off to all these three guys. They're running hard and fast on a very tight track, and without a panel being bent. So real credit to them.
For sure. So Will Wilson reckons John could pull something off in the final race, maybe come from behind and win it. I don't know. He's right down there at the back at the moment. He's dragging the chain. There he is.
That'll be a full scene.
Yeah. So here we go. We're going to get set for a restart, which is good. Lap 7 of 25. So we'll see if Dumbrell, I'm going to focus on him for the restart and just see if he doesn't take a couple of risks to try and get himself into the lead.
That's the thing I love about iRacing too. It's actually not that hard to break a rule, which can give you that sort of crucial 30-second penalty that can really wreck your day.
I think he got a 30-second speeding penalty in, I think in that first race. That was what happened to him. It was a 51-second stop, whereas everyone else had a 10 or so second stop. So there's the restart. Coleman got away perfectly at the front, so he's not going to get challenged. I thought maybe Dumbrell might have snuck up onto his door and tried to do something cheeky off the start, but it was very gentlemanly and a pretty sedate getaway really for the top 5. Back in the TCR class, they're a little bit closer with Anderson once again under attack from Luke Hogan, who's back there in the Hyundai. So it's Hyundai versus Hondas all around that 7th to 11th position at the moment.
There you go, and you can see one of the Club Racer engineering cars there. We were talking about Justin McMahon before, and I'll give you a bit of breaking news, mate. He's sitting in a simulator tonight that's built with the same material as going into one of the over 2-litre Ipransw New South Wales cars for next year. So okay. He's decided to go into sim frame making using the leftover roll bar tubing from a couple of fast BMWs. So if you're looking for a new sim frame, Club Racer Engineering is your man.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, tell us, expand on that a little bit. What's
Yeah, well, he just like Justin's got a workshop in Port Kembla, south of Wollongong. He's been in and around motorsport for a while. He's built a couple of quite fast Hondas that have made their way through the Ipransw New South Wales field. He was looking after some sports sedans races last weekend. He's got a hand in a lot of motorsport pies, but popped a photo up on his Insta of this sort of roll cage tubing contraption. I said, "What's that for, mate?" And it's my new sim frame. And so he's banging around in the series tonight. Resplendent in his brand new sim frame. He's like, "Oh, I can sell these. I've got enough roll cage tubing. I just got to keep some for Joseph Lenthal's hot BMW 3 Series M3 that's coming onto the grid next year. But I can knock them up pretty easily. So yeah, I might have to upgrade."
That's pretty cool. Hey, I was just Googling sim rigs while you were talking there to see if I could find it. I couldn't find it, but I have found this.
Yep.
I have found this very cool one. I'm just going to quickly put up on the screen. Check this thing out. It's that is very cool sim rig. It looks like it's like some big wheels on there and a cool frame and speakers built into it. There's a lot of cool stuff if you Google. That's very cool. But yeah, if you got a picture of his rig, like send it across to us on Discord and I'll show it.
I shall try and find it as we chat.
So the front runners on lap 10 here is still half a second between it. Coleman holding his own. I don't know a lot about Dave Coleman, but whenever I see him in a car, he's pretty damn quick, and we know Dumbrell. He's pretty sterling himself. So the fact that Dave's been able to walk away again here from him just goes to show the caliber of this fishy motorsports driver. So he's driving very well.
Yeah, look, I think that I'm in awe of the talent of these the regular sim racers. It's as I say, I've been in and around sim racing for a while, but the gap between guys that do it regularly and us sort of people who dive in every other month, it's just grown and grown and grown. And to be able to race this closely on a track with this narrow, good for them. I think it's brilliant.
I find it embarrassing when I get out there and I think I'm doing all right, and then you look at the times of the quick guys and it's like, how the hell are you finding an extra 2 seconds around this lap? It just is beyond me.
It's pretty demoralising, isn't it? It's I did have a run in the first couple of these rounds, and I quickly realised that maybe my forte is the real stuff, and maybe better commentating.
Yeah, we've got Andrew off again now. He's in the fence. Could be another safety car if he can't clear this up and turn it around. That's what the cloud of smoke was. Oh, he's going to back it into the fence and lose the rear of the car now, the Wombat Industries photography car. So you'll hopefully rejoin without too much issue here. But John Van Ree not bringing up the back of the field anymore. He's second to last. So there he is, Johnny in 14th place. And
chip it away.
Chip it away, yeah. Then Justin, then Samuel as we move forward, then Peacock. And hey, we just had a safety car, and I can't believe how gapped out this is already after having a safety car not long ago. So Anderson and Anderson and Hogan are probably our closest TCR battle going on, so we'll watch them for a little bit as they dice. Just watching out the back here of Matt Anderson's Honda Club Racer Engineering car, and it's pretty quick across the top there. It's a tricky corner to get right, that final corner coming onto the straight, because it's another place, and you can actually see, if I freeze the camera there and look back, you can see by the witness marks in the grass there that someone's been for an excursion, and that's very easy to do. You run a little bit wide and you kiss the curb through there, and it throws you out into the grass. So, but all in all, pretty clean racing in this. You know, we haven't seen the big. I expected to see Limerock big crash at turn one like you see in the old official races, where half the field ends up on their roof and crying to the pits.
Absolutely. Again, I think it just speaks to it's a testament to the quality of these guys and how they take it seriously, but they seem to have a very good time doing it as well. So
the real world races tend to be pretty clean, though. That's what I've found over the years.
It gets expensive when you're not too clean. There are some series, and we do have a couple of refugees in the Ipransw New South Wales series from other categories. Let's say that rely more on door banging and bumper bending to make a point. Whereas in our series, it's we have pretty tight regulations on driver standards, driver behaviour. So we want good, clean, fast racing, but if we start to lean on each other, we're pretty quickly pulled before the committee and asked to explain ourselves.
Yeah, it carries over into the sim racing too, and I've noticed that in different categories like sports sedans and that I've done broadcasts for, whereas you get some of I remember doing some Porsche Cup ones where it was predominantly sim races, and you get some kids out there that they crash and bash, and when they've had their incident, they piss off, and that's the end of their night. So they're not there for the community. They're not there for what I see as a value to this sort of series, and that is that everyone's having a good time. They're being fair, and if they do crash, they tend to hang around. They get back out there and finish the race like you would try to do in the real world.
Yeah, correct. And I think that's the connection of the two worlds. I think with sim racing really wants to make the most of that connection with real life racing. I ideally love to see stories of sim racers jumping in real cars and doing a fantastic job, and I think that sim racing, even if you're not a dedicated sim racer as a real world racer, I definitely like getting in my sim and just doing half an hour mistake free. It just puts you in the right headspace, to make sure that you can go out and to the next round of your real racing, and you're training the brain, you're training the feet, you're training your mind to do the right job.
Yeah, Will's saying there, I love me some improved productions when it's on the TV, which is rarely up there with my fave, so that's pretty cool feedback as well from one of our viewers. So Ryan Gordon here leading. Sorry.
I was going to say, hopefully he checks it out. We've got, Ipransw New South Wales has got its own YouTube channel. We've taken the job on this year of doing it ourselves, and we've had some fun with it. We've got a couple of young guys doing the filming. I jump in front of the mic because there's nobody else available, and nobody else is stupid enough to do it, I think, pretty much. And we string together a highlights package from each of the rounds that we attend. So we've done a couple at Sydney Motorsport Park, we've done one at Wakefield, and you can find them all up at Ipransw New South Wales on YouTube. So
very cool.
There you go, mate. A bit of evening watching to put you to sleep tonight.
He's just said he's subscribed, so there you go. And we're seeing,
thank you, buddy.
we're seeing these little battle for the TCR cars. Now, Ryan Gordon is leading the TCR class, or the 2 litre class tonight for the first time. I expected to see him probably dominate a couple of races prior, but it's taken him till now to get right up to the front of the class. Now, our top V8 supercars have just gone into the pits for their one and only fuel stop. But yeah, Gordon holding his own, and between him and Starling, it's a massive gap then back to Hogan. So looking good for his first win of the night.
You can see them coming onto the main straight of the V8s are in the pits, but it looks like the V8 pit stops are fairly short, are they, Luke?
They are, yeah, about 14 seconds stationary. It was 9.8 for Dylan Thomas. Now, he's obviously short-fueled that to try and get some track position over McCune. Whether or not that bites him later on in the race with, you know, a couple laps to go, he might have to start doing some pretty serious fuel saving. But that's obviously what his numbers have told him to take on board. So 10.2 second stationary for Coleman and Dumbrell, 9.8 for Dylan, which was a little bit less. McCune once again just overfueled it, probably put 14.1 seconds in, so not sure if he just clicked the button once to the right too many times, but he's put a few extra litres of fuel in that car.
Well, like you say, it could play it at the end, especially if it goes safety car free to the end.
Now I've got a picture of that sim rig that you've just flicked over to me, so I've just got to try and get it in the centre of my screen, but that looks really cool.
He's done a great job. It's yeah, like I say, that's is the same material that you'll see on in Improved Production New South Wales Racing next year aboard the M3 of Joseph Lemthal, who's one of the sort of stalwarts of the category. So had a rad RX-7 that he sold when he had to buy a house last year, but he's back in he'll be back in the series, and the car's down at Justin's workshop, getting the proper pedals, getting all the gear. So it looks like we're back on the safety car. So gathering the field up again.
Yeah, we are. So there's a good shot. I'm just trying to enlarge that for people that want to view it. There we go. Just gives you a little bit of a look at what it looks like. Yeah, he's done a really good job. Some nice welds there too. There's no chicken poop there.
No, he's got a good weld. But like I say, as long as you can get the gearbox back in my Honda for the next round at Wakefield Park in a couple of weeks, and you know, might just have to park the sim rig building just for a while until my car's back and running. That'd be great.
Porsche getting out of there. So they've held the field up here, maybe for some excitement for us. So it's going to be 7-lap dash to the end, and it will be Dave Coleman that's about to go away now. Maybe this time Dumbrell will try and be a little bit cheeky. He's been very nice so far and not really pressurising the race leader off the restarts at all, but this time what's he going to do as we look back from Coleman? I see, maybe they've been told single file. They're being very well behaved.
We'll see. After the clock is ticking down, the laps are running out. Maybe it's time for the big song from Dumbrell to get that win.
Yeah, lap 19, so 7 to go, including this one, and down the inside, oh, that was close. So Dylan Thomas almost got a run then on Dumbrell off the restart. Gordon still holds on to the lead of the 2-litre class. And Riali's just got to try and sneak his way through. I love this when they get stuck through the twisties behind the 2-litre cars. They've got to be so patient, these guys.
Nobody's being nerfed into the infield, so yeah, we'll see how that goes in a couple of laps. Though they might lose that patience.
Yeah, another great restart without anyone, like you say, being nerfed into the infield. So they've impressed me tonight with their composure through turn 1 in particular.
Yeah, they've all been very gentlemanly. Let's see how it unwinds with a couple of laps to go, though.
It's true. Yep, you never know their true nature until the checker flag's only a lap away. Big cloud of smoke there for McCune. I think he just snatched a break, which was odd. I wonder if he jumped off the curb there. It was just a weird little moment for him, and a big puff of smoke came out of the car as well. In the background, Riali does clear the 2-litre cars finally, and then it's Gordon, Starling, Worrell trying to find his way through as well in P8 in that Wodonga Cars and Parts car. Let's jump on board with him. Also now stuck through the twisties.
Good to see a new livery on Dave's car as well. He's that's a pretty fresh paint job for him, and as mentioned, he runs a VC in over 2-litre, and also very handy on the tools. There's a couple of the cohorts of Dave who run old BMWs. They just have the best time. One of the blokes actually runs a beer tap on his dashboard because he's sponsored by a beer keg company. So
classic.
They have the best time. They just, you know, not a single F is given. They just get out there. They have a good time.
Yep.
Race as hard as they can. Race clean. Put them on the trailer and go home. New South Wales is a fantastic series. We have a few older guys, but we do have a few younger guys as well. I think Matthew Burks might have raced one of the races with you guys earlier in the year in the virtual series. series with a bit of door banging action going on there.
Yeah.
And he's very early 20s, and he's already showing some of the older wiser heads in under 2 litres the way around the tracks. He's doing a really good job this year.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I was thinking before when you were saying about that camaraderie and how much fun they have together. Some of my favourite memories of life really is sitting in the shed with a few mates over different cars and race cars back in the day. I don't do it anymore, unfortunately. It's been a long time since I've done that sort of thing, but I've got fond memories of when I was younger of tinkering with cars, and had an Austin Healey, had a Toyota 86, which I wish I'd never sold, an A86, like an original Sprinter. So yeah, I used to love just tinkering and hanging with your mates, and we used to light a bit of kero when it got freezing cold to keep us warm in a little barrel, and you know, just good memories.
Look, it's exactly the same, and you know, one of the first things you do when you get to a New South Wales round is figure out who's got the kettle. Who's got the best biscuits in the garage, and we'll generally chuck on the sausage sizzle for everyone at mid-point on race day, and you know, it's almost compulsory that you have to come to the sausage sizzle, and but no, they're a great bunch of coves, and especially if someone's got an issue with a car, doesn't matter if they're you know, direct competitors for the season end of the championship, they'll dive under the bonnet with the spanners to make sure they get out for the next race.
Yeah, it's awesome. Now, before we wrap it up, because we've only got a few laps to go, one more plug for the next race for the New South Wales.
Absolutely, Wakefield Park. Towards it's the 24th of August, I think. It caught me a little bit in the hop, but the last weekend of August, we're racing on the Saturday, and look, it's probably a great chance to support a racetrack that's under a little bit of a cloud at the moment, thanks to the environment courts. So if you want to see some great racing, there's a whole bunch of categories, but the improved production crowd will be there on the Saturday with bells on, and supporting the awesome people at Wakefield Park.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks, Tim. It's been fantastic having you in here for a chat. Tim Robson, everyone, and mate, it's been a delight. So thank you for popping in, and we might talk to you in a month's time when we do round 7.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Thanks for having me, and good luck with it all.
Excellent. Good on you. Righto, folks. We'll finish this off now. We're going to crank up the sound. We've only got 2 laps to go here. Coleman's leading this one and looking pretty strong to what should be a win, you would think, in the class, but maybe there's one more little catch still to come with a lap and a half to go. Have they got enough fuel in the car? Oh, look at the sideways as well. The tyres are definitely letting go for Coleman, so he's got to hang on here. He'll be feeling the pressure of Dumbrell. Dumbrell will have seen that as well, and he knows that he's in tyre trouble. Look at the back end swinging around all over the place. Now, once you light them up and you get them into that state of boiling off the outer edges and boiling off the edge of the tyre, you're in a bit of strife. So Dumbrell needs to be patient. He slides again through the final corner. 1 lap to go, white flag. What can Dumbrell do against David Coleman, who's been strong all night? He goes in deep. Can he stop the car? He can. In the background, Thomas and McCune not really fighting over that 3rd position. Looks pretty secure to Dylan Thomas at the moment. But watch the attitude of this car off the corners. The back end is stepping out everywhere. Here he goes again. Look at it. And Dumbrell gets right up onto his tail. Will he have a bit of a dive? He does. Down the inside, he has a look. Backs out of it in the end. That was close. That may have been the only chance, although there's a TCR car in the way as well. He might get one more go at this, Dumbrell, onto the pit straight. So Coleman holds it together though, and he's going to win this one. He's going to win the final race and take out the round 6 of the Ipransw, New South Wales, from Limerock, and it's a win there too. Coleman from Dumbrell gets 2nd. Dylan Thomas gets 3rd, just by the narrowest of margins over McCune. We look back to the 2 litre guys. This is the race for the win in 2 litre. It is Ryan Gorton who should be able to take out the win as he comes down now to the final corner. It's a big send from Starling down the inside, but he's not going to be able to get it done, and the win is going to go to Ryan Gorton in the final race tonight. He wins the feature by about a car length over Starling, and then Luke Hogan takes out P3. So good racing. We've had 3 25-lap races tonight, all of them pretty enjoyable. So we'll have a quick chat shortly to the top 3, and we'll wrap it all up here from Limerock. See results about to come up on the screen thanks to iRacing. And there it is, confirm the winner. David Coleman over the line by 3.6 tenths of a second there in the end over Dumbrell, Thomas and McCune, your top 4. Reali running out the 5 for the supercars, and it was Gordon, Starling and Hogan 6th, 7th and 8th, the first 3 in class. Anderson, Peacock and Van Ree snuck into the 11 in the end, right there at the closing stages of the race. So we'll head down shortly. We'll just wait for the drivers to pop in for a quick chat, and then it's curtains for me tonight. So we'll just wait, and we'll be with you shortly with the interviews. All right, so we take our winner from the race and a round winner as well, the Fishy Motorsports, David Coleman. Well done, mate. Great racing tonight. You look so strong there, and even right to the end there with the tyres well and truly gone, you held on.
Yeah, a bit of a pet track, mate. I do like these plates. I actually didn't realise racing was tonight, and I seen Limerock. I'm like, oh, I'll jump straight on. So, yeah, good fun. It was actually good racing that last race, and the second race was good fun as well.
How bad were the tyres right at the end there?
They're pretty, yeah, the rears were cooked. I don't know, like I felt like I didn't drive as hard as the second race, but I don't know if the track temp was hotter or something like that. I'm totally unsure, but yeah, tyres were terrible.
Good job though. And Michael, I don't know if you can hear me yet because he's still muted, but he drove a good race too. He was right in your mirrors at the end there, Dave. You were a bit worried?
Always worried. He was PMing me in the middle, and I knew he was going to have a red hot crack because I don't think race 1 went his way, so yeah, it was good fun.
No, good. We haven't got him yet, but we will go across to Ryan. Well done. You've won the 2-litre class there for the feature race tonight. Well done.
Yeah, cheers, Luke. That was good fun. It was a bit of a mad rush to try and make the race.
And you're having a good battle there with Brett too, right towards the end there. You almost had a crack up the inside at the final corner.
Yeah, I thought he was going to send it up. No, it was a good finish and good races all around.
Very good. Righto. Well, we've got Michael now. So, hey, Michael, how you doing, mate? Good race there with Dave. That was enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, g'day, Luke. How you going?
Good.
No chat, actually. Yeah, no, that was pretty intense. I might have to check Dave's defense into that last chicane, but we'll. So the one time I got close enough to him to do anything, but yeah, no, man, he had such a good night. I couldn't catch him all night, and obviously the first race I completely muffed it for myself. I think I went off twice, and then I got a 40-second slowdown, and yeah, Dave just drove consistent all night, absolute champion. So. Yeah, don't know what else to say, to be honest.
Great driving, good to watch. And yeah, right at the end, I was excited. I was watching the way Dave's car was, moving around. I thought, oh, we're on for something special here, and went to the line 3/10 in the end in the favour of Dave. Let's do some thank yous. Top 2 that have joined me here. Who would you like to thank, Dave, for winning round 6 of this IPRA Championship?
Just thank the team and all the sponsors and the league. It's a good, fun little racing they've got going on here. So jump on board, guys, because it's good fun. Well
done. And then, Michael, who would you like to thank, man, for P2?
Just yourself, obviously, Luke, for always doing a good broadcast. Dave and the IPRA guys, it's been good. And obviously the other HSR boys always have good fun. Some of the other guys are concentrating on Nürburgring for vets tomorrow night, so couldn't make it tonight. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really.
Awesome. Oh, well, thanks, boys. It's another round run and done, and we'll see you guys next time. And thanks for all the good entertainment racing tonight. Cheers.
Thanks, Luke.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, boys. All right, that's it from me tonight. Good race win there for Dave Coleman in the end to take out round number 6. So Michael Dumbrell right behind him, and Dylan Thomas, your top 3 in the 2-litre class. Gordon, Starling and Hogan, your top 3. Till next time, I'm Luke. This is RACESTARS TV. Catch ya.
I reckon he's going to go down the inside of him here.